lips. I bet those lips could kill. But maybe some women aren't worth dying for. I used to know myself pretty well, a man of the law. Now I might have to throw away my badge. It's tarnished now, like my own soul. They say confession is good for that sort of thing. But we'll see what happens after we leave together. Because after tonight, there may not be anything of me left. We'll see what happens when the sun comes up. But for now, I'll just say, good night. For those of you wondering about the significance of what you just heard, it was a typical genre-esque entry into what is known as noir, something akin to what you might read in the pages of a pulp novel or might see in an old black and white movie. It had elements of film noir, the man alone, mystery, darkness, the femme fatale. But what is film noir? Well, more style than a genre, it represents many facets of the human condition in its darker ethos. It isn't possible not to draw a personal correlation between the lines of film noir's often corrupt, mischievous, and lurid subtext. Shadows, mystery, fatalism, immorality, corruption, crime, and raw, molten lasciviousness. Now there is a bevy of material in film noir. It has long been a study of critics and students, and now finding myself as a current student of this classic style, I've become very familiar with its characters, themes, and attributes. But of course, film noir, as with all things, is more than the sum of its parts. But those parts, its definition, characters, mood, and visual style, make up its essentials. So now that you have a better understanding of noir style, what does noir actually mean? Noir is a French word translated in English as simply black, film black, or more aptly put, the dark cinema. Longtime and esteemed film critic Roger Ebert calls film noir film of the night. His guide to film noir also states that film noir at no time will mislead you into thinking there will be a happy ending. Raymond Board and Etienne Chamatan of the Film Noir Reader elaborate on the time span of classic noir. The classic period began in 1941 with John Huston's The Maltese Falcon and ended in 1958 with Orson Welles' Touch of Evil. Now, as you can imagine, the landscapes of noir are a dark and mysterious place. Now it's time to become acquainted with those who reside there, the key characters of noir, the protagonist. Notes on film noir refers to him as morally ambiguous male, standing at the crossroads of light and shadow, perhaps in a self-imposed purgatory. He is alone, a man in search of a villain, justice, or sometimes an object. And then there is the femme fatale, always the femme fatale. Femme fatale is French for disastrous woman. She is enticing. She is mischievous. Tim Dirks of Film Site refers to the femme fatale as mysterious, duplicitous, double-crossing, and manipulative. The man alone, the protagonist, will be ensnared by her, influencing him to commit murder or some other crime, passion. Those are the key characters of noir, but the mood of noir, now that is where everything begins. Film Site refers to the tone and mood of noir as an omnipresent characteristic. It looms with dread, thereby evoking a foreboding sense of fatalism. Claustrophobia becomes induced by the maze-like cityscape, and guilt is personified in character shadows and the city itself. With the tone and mood, characters, and definition established, it's time to move to the eye of the camera, with film noirs trademark visual style. Roger Ebert states that film noirs were shot in black and white, or feel like they were. Therefore, removed from reality by their very nature, cinematographers of noir would use this fact to their advantage. The two shades, black and white, standing as clear dividers of noir's two worlds, the moral and the immoral. The lighting of noir. Noir uses what is called chiaroscuro, which, as essential cinema defines, is the bold contrast between light and dark. This technique effectively sets the mood by creating a distinct boundary between the areas of light and dark, thereby evoking the immoral side of human nature. Noir also uses what's called mise en scène, which, as essential cinema defines, as simply putting in to the scene. Noir uses a highly stylized sense of mise en scène. Tim Dirks of Film Site elaborates on this method. Film noirs were marked by circling cigarette smoke and off-balanced compositions. Interiors were marked by low-key lighting, dark and gloomy appearances. Exteriors were often urban night scenes with deep shadows, wet asphalt, rain-slicked, or mean streets. So now you've become acquainted with the essentials of noir, its characters, mood, and visual style. Now you have a better understanding of what makes noir, noir. So we have traveled these dark and lonely streets together. We've met the characters who reside in its maze, the man alone who slips into the gray and hears the words of deceit that drip from the lips of the femme fatale. We've walked in a place where light transmutes into abject darkness and morality lives on the boardwalk of corruption and murder. So perhaps you too are feeling tempted now. For these dark places, they do have their allure. For there's a part in all of us, a hidden part, that dances with the devil. So the sun's come up now. It's too bad I'm not allowed to see it. My death